So we're used to seeing different units of area, okay? You might have come across centimeters squared as quite a commonly used one, but you could also have other ones as well. You could have millimeters squared and you could have meters squared. And in this video I want to show you how you can convert between these different units, because it's not as straightforward as you might think. So let's have a look at this square that I've drawn here. So this is a 1 by 1 centimeter square. So what will the area for this be? Well, if I do 1 multiplied by 1, I'll get 1 centimeter squared. Now next to it I've drawn another square, and this one is exactly the same size, okay? But the only difference is I've written it in millimeters. Okay, so this is 1 centimeter. This is the same length, isn't it? But in millimeters, because there's 10 millimeters in every 1 centimeter. So if I've got a 10 by 10 millimeter square and it's exactly the same size as this, what will this be? What will this answer be in millimeters? What will the area for this be? Well, 10 times 10 is 100. So this will be 100 millimeters squared. Okay, so 1 centimeter squared is the same as 100 millimeters squared. So if I had something like 3 centimeters squared and I wanted to know what it was in millimeters squared, I'd have to have 300 millimeters squared. I'd have to multiply it by 100, wouldn't I? Now we can apply the same idea to centimeters and meters. So here I've got another couple of squares. This time I've got a 1 by 1 meter, so a lot bigger. 1 by 1 meter, well, 1 times 1 is 1 meter squared. And I've got another square next to it, which is again exactly the same size as the first one. So this one is 100 by 100 centimeters. Okay, 100 centimeters is the same as a meter, isn't it? So, but 100 times 100 is 10,000. So 10,000 centimeters squared. So 1 meter squared is the same as 10,000 centimeters squared. So if I had, I don't know, 4 meters squared, that would be 40,000 centimeters squared. Or if I had half a meter squared, that would be 5,000 centimeters squared. Okay, let's have a look at some quick questions where we might have to give the area in different units. So here I've got a rectangle and I want to know the area. Now what you need to do when you're doing these sorts of questions is be really careful with your units, because look, in this diagram the units are different, aren't they? So every single time you do these, always change the units so that they match each other. So that is 3 centimeters, isn't it? So if I wanted to know what the area was in centimeters squared, then I would do 3 centimeters multiplied by 4 centimeters to give me 12 centimeters squared. If I wanted to know what the answer was in millimeters, well, I need to make sure that they're both in millimeters. So this one here I need to change so it's in millimeters, so that'd be 40 millimeters. And if I did 30 millimeters multiplied by 40 millimeters, I would get out an answer of what? 1,200 millimeters squared. Okay, let's just quickly run back and check, does that match what we were thinking over here? Because we said every 1 centimeter squared is equal to 100 millimeters squared. So here I have 12, and yet I have here I've got 1,200 millimeters squared, so that works. Let's have a look at another quick example, this time with centimeters and meters. So again, check the units, they're different units there. So if I want to know the area for this shape, I'm going to have to change one of them so they're both the same. So let's make this into meters. Let's make this 0.75 meters. Okay, so if I want to know the area in meters, I'm going to do 1 multiplied by 0.75. So that gives me 0.75 meters squared. And if I wanted to know what the answer was in centimeters squared, well, this one's already in centimeters. I'm going to have to change this one so it's in centimeters. So that's going to be 100 centimeters, isn't it? So for my calculation, I'm going to do 100 multiplied by 75. So that's going to give me 7,500 or 7,500 centimeters squared. And does that match up? So we said that for every 1 meter squared, we'd have to have 10,000 centimeters squared. So here I've got, yeah, that's right, isn't it? That's a little bit less than 1, isn't it? And that's a little bit less than 10,000. So that works. Okay, so that's a quick look at units of area.
Joash Math.